Every transportation agency in the United States uses the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, or MUTCD, to deploy signs, traffic signals, pavement markings, and other traffic control devices that route traffic and alert motorists of potential hazards. This standardized method of communication helps road users, no matter where they are in the country, understand the road ahead and how to avoid collisions. Agencies that fail to apply the MUTCD standards risk exposure to litigation. To improve public safety and reduce liability exposure, substantial conformance with MUTCD standards is critical. As traffic volume and roadway conditions change, agencies must continually reassess their roadways and work zones to ensure proper design and placement of traffic control devices. Let's review the contents of the MUTCD and learn how agencies use the manual to make decisions about traffic control devices. The MUTCD has 9 parts. Part 1 defines terms and introduces the concept of standards, guidance, and options. More specifically, the standards define what every agency must do, and the guidance and options designate what they should or may do. Part 1 also provides regulatory background and additional information that assists the reader in using the manual. Parts 2, 3, and 4 address the 3 classes of traffic control devices: signs, pavement markings, and traffic signals. In these sections, readers learn about each device's design, placement, maintenance, and the conditions for use. Parts 5 through 9 address the use of devices for specialty applications and provide typical examples of use. Specifically, Part 5 addresses low-volume roads. Part 6 describes temporary situations like work zones or special events. Part 7 examines school areas. Part 8 highlights railroad grade crossings. And Part 9 covers bicycle facilities. During roadway design, transportation engineers use the MUTCD to identify the most appropriate traffic control system for the specific road type and the anticipated traffic volume. When actual traffic volumes grow beyond what was originally anticipated or collisions increase, generally existing traffic control devices need to be evaluated to improve safety. For example, the addition of a traffic signal to control the right-of-way at an intersection or pavement marking to provide turn lanes will decrease the severity of crashes. Therefore, agency staff should monitor changes in traffic volume and collisions and use the MUTCD to decide whether changes in traffic control are needed. Whether designing or reassessing a roadway, always use the standard most appropriate for road conditions. To illustrate how agencies use the MUTCD, let's follow a maintenance supervisor on a project to repair a storm sewer drain on a residential street. According to the work order, repairs will take place at a single location where the traffic is anticipated to be light, less than 50 cars per hour, and the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. The supervisor thinks his crew can finish the repairs within 4 hours. This project description leads to a typical MUTCD application, specifically lane closure on a minor street. The standard describes an advanced sign with an option for a work vehicle that has a truck-mounted attenuator. The MUTCD also describes conditions when flaggers might be required. Anticipating that drivers will be able to decide when it's safe to pass the work zone, the supervisor has the standard signage put in place. However, when he arrives at the work zone, the supervisor sees heavy traffic in the eastbound lane and a backup in the westbound lane. To pass the work zone, many drivers accelerate too quickly. In situations like this, when traffic does not self-regulate, the standard in the MUTCD requires the addition of flaggers, which the supervisor immediately arranges to manage the right-of-way. If your agency has jurisdiction over a road, it's responsible for applying MUTCD standards. And as our example illustrates, when traffic control does not appear to be working for the road user, your agency must reassess and allocate the appropriate traffic control devices. This assessment is made for permanent installations and temporary situations. For questions about applying the MUTCD, contact your State Department of Transportation. Additional training is also available through the local technical assistance program.
Anytime when you're out in traffic, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, every time I come off the road there, it's been another good day.
The MnDOT truck station in Baxter supports 432 bridges, 20 public airports, and over 1,700 miles of highway. It was on one of these highways that Scott Gabriel was injured by a distracted driver during a road patch operation.
I'm Scott Gabriel from Baxter Maintenance in Baxter, Minnesota. And I started work here full-time 2001. I've been here 12 years, 10 months in Baxter shop.
A roadway patching operation includes a patching truck, maintenance personnel repairing asphalt on foot, and a safety truck in the rear. The safety truck serves two functions: directing traffic away from the work zone using flashing arrows and protecting the workers from being hit by a vehicle entering the work zone.
You know, I was like 300 feet behind my guys that were, you know, doing the work in front of me. So you're trying to keep your distance from the work zone to your front of your truck so nobody gets in between.
Scott was operating the safety truck when his truck was hit by an inattentive driver. Scott had to react quickly to avoid hitting the construction crew patching the road in front of him.
I remember when, you know, I knew I had to stop the vehicle, so I didn't go into my people in front, so I held onto the brake there and I pushed out the back windshield. Didn't break that at all with my head, and then my knee hit the dashboard and my chest must have hit the steering wheel and my shoulder with the harness of the seatbelt. That's all I remember. Kind of like it was so fast.
Over the past 3 years, there have been an average of 2,000 crashes and 7 people killed per year in Minnesota construction zones.
I'm JP Galach. I'm the Public Affairs Coordinator for MnDOT in District 3, which is central Minnesota. The proper way to drive in a construction zone is to recognize when you're approaching a construction zone and recognize you're entering a high-risk area. You're already doing about the most dangerous thing you're going to do from day to day, which is drive a vehicle on a road with other people. And when you enter a construction zone, you're entering an even higher risk area.
When entering a construction zone, slow down, be prepared to stop, and pay special attention to roadway signs and construction personnel. Watch for flaggers directing traffic through the area. These guidelines apply to all types of roads, from small city streets to large trunk highways.
Scott's story can teach anybody that work zones are dangerous places. And you just need to recognize that there's a whole lot of human factor in every work zone. So no matter how hard we work at making it safe, and no matter how well the work zone is set up, there's always a chance that something can go wrong. Bad things can happen in a hurry if you're not very careful.
Well, neck pain I got, I had surgery on my neck, and then shoulder pain, chest pain, and then knee pain. It's daily routine, so can't let that bother me. I gotta work through it. Especially when you're in a crash, you're not 100% after that, so.
MnDOT works with counties, cities, and many other local agencies to ensure that construction zone safety is a collaborative effort between all Minnesota highway agencies. These agencies work with contractors to ensure that construction zones are used properly and set up correctly. But ultimately, construction zone safety is all of our responsibility.
But we're out there to fix the road and make it a little better driving for everybody. Every day I go home from here, I'm happy, you know.
The Alabama Department of Transportation is reminding drivers about road safety this summer, and they are increasing fines when it comes to moving violations in work zones. Our Nixon Norman tells us more about these increased fines and how you can avoid them.
The Alabama Department of Transportation and the Alabama Road Builders Association are making some changes to protect the lives of road construction and maintenance workers.
In addition to speeding fines being doubled when workers are present, now all moving violations will have the fines doubled when workers are present.
And starting Thursday, July 1st, the fine for any moving traffic violation committed in a construction zone where workers are present will cost you a $250 fine, or double the regular fine, whichever amount is greater.
Certainly anything that's going to discourage motorists from driving aggressively in work zones is going to be something that, we're going to welcome.
But these changes help protect more than the workers. They help protect everyone. Early numbers for 2020 show that there were more than 2,300 work zone crashes in Alabama, resulting in 19 fatalities and more than 600 injuries. These numbers include both road workers and motorists.
Safety in work zones is not just limited to keeping construction workers safe, but it's also about keeping the traveling public safe. Most of the crashes that we see in work zones actually don't involve construction workers themselves. Most of them actually occur between motorists or involving one or more motorists that are traveling through the work zone.
But Burkett has some tips for motorists.
Don't speed, slow down, be prepared to move over, especially for workers or equipment that may be out there, or as any construction signage or flaggers might indicate for you to do. Don't follow other motorists too closely, and certainly remain alert and don't drive distracted.
Putting the Valley first, Nixon Norman, WZDX News.